If you're experiencing any battery issues with the mobile app, then there are a few things that you can do to try and preserve the battery a bit longer. But it's worth noting that any mobile app like Flow Mobile Surveying that you're using constantly is going to drain the battery quicker. So just bear that in mind. So firstly, let's look at some general tips for improving battery life on your mobile device. So the first thing to look at is the device brightness. Have you got the brightness turned all the way up to 100? If so, that's probably unnecessary. Instead, look at turning the auto brightness feature on. What this will do is it will adjust your screen brightness depending on the ambient light, so you'll still be able to see the screen okay. And by reducing the brightness, this is going to preserve your battery life a bit longer. Another thing you can do is to enable power saving mode. This is going to reduce the general performance on your mobile device, but it will also stop any background processes running from other apps. So in doing so, it will improve your battery life. For most devices, to enable power saving mode, you just go into the options, and there's usually a little quick link, like this one here, to turn that on. So depending on your device, the instructions are going to be slightly different. So another thing that can drain your battery is when your phone is actively searching for a wireless connection. And that's a problem if you're in a rural area or somewhere with a bit of a flaky signal. Your phone sort of constantly searching for a wireless connection where there is none is going to drain your battery more. So to get around this, what you could do is you could turn wireless off, or you can turn airplane mode on. But that's going to disable both your wireless connection and your phone's general internet connection, so just be aware of that. The Flow Mobile Surveying app does work offline though, so if you do turn on airplane mode, the app should still work okay. Lastly, just make sure there are no other open apps running in the background, which may be draining the battery. So depending on your device, this is usually a kind of swipe up from the bottom to check any open sessions, and then you can just close them from there. So those were some general tips for improving battery life on your mobile device. The next thing to do is to check the settings within the app itself. So let's just close this screen and head over to the settings page. Now, one thing you can do is to turn on dark mode. Now, light apps tend to take up more power because they're having to present more light to you, the user, whereas dark apps use less power. So if you scroll down to the brightness setting, you can toggle that to dark mode, like so. And that's going to save you some power. Another thing you can do is to turn off media uploads. So as I mentioned earlier, when you're uploading images, that can tend to drain battery life because images are often very large. So if you turn off media uploads, what that means is any text will continue to sync automatically, but the images will stay on your device until you turn the setting back on. So you might want to turn that back on later when you've got your phone on charge or when you've got a Wi-Fi connection. So in order to turn media uploads off, again, just head to the settings page and toggle this option here. So if you've tried all of these things and you're still experiencing battery life issues, that could just be because you're using the app very frequently and it's draining the battery, and there's nothing much you can do about that. So in these cases, you may want to consider a portable battery charger. And you can just take this in the van with you and charge up your phone between jobs. It can be a really handy way just to give that extra little bit of juice to your mobile device when you need it. And if none of these things are working and you think there's a deeper problem with the app, please get in touch with our support team and we'll be happy to help.